welcome to the Texie Talk stage, Carolyn HERFURTH.
Thank you. Well, an engagement is very exciting. Congratulations. And I'll work on the proposal and I'll get back to you in a couple of days. Great. Oh my gosh, it's such a milestone, those bar mitzvahs. Yes. Okay, so I'll work on your proposal and I will get back to you in a couple of days. Perfect. Oh, you're having a client appreciation lunch? Yes. Oh, yes. They're so important to letting your clients know how important they are to you. And so I'll work on the proposal and I'll get back to you in a couple of days. Perfect. Your 1-year-old's birthday party? Okay, perfect. I'll get back to you in a couple of days. So I got to work on all these proposals. God. Oh, God, kill me. That's the laughter of someone who has been through this before. The knowing. Okay, so I got those sent off. Oof. God, not again. Anyone? Everybody? So, I gotta tell you, you deserve better, right? You totally deserve better, yes! I love my front row clapper here. So, I wanna explain to you what's going on and what you can do to end this road to hell, all right? Sound good? Okay, so it's what I call the entrepreneur's evolution. And so you're all business owners here. You might be an intrapreneur, an entrepreneur, but you're running events, so you're an entrepreneur. And the way this works, there are 4 growth phases that we go through when we start out with anything, all right? And there are 3 elements that factor into each one. So you'll notice on the top left part of the screen, it's morale. So that's how you feel about what you're going through at any given time. It's how you feel about your business. The money is like, that's your elbow grease. That's your time. That's the money you put into investing in your business. And so that's the second element. The third element is money in. That's money into your pocketbook or wallet or bank account or whatever you want to call it. So that's your revenue. Those are your sales, all right? So when you start off, you're like, woohoo, hey world, I'm here. Your morale is high. You're making investments in your business. You're putting time, money, energy into it. And you got a little bit of money rolling in. You might be that niece who just got her first event, all right? And so that's the first thing. But then what happens is you go along for a little bit, and you're like, I thought my revenues were going to be here. Look at that green dotted line. I was hoping I would have more money by now, and I don't. That's a problem. So what happens is reality sets in. And I'm hearing laughter. Again, I know laughter is like that uncomfortable, like, oh God, do I know this story? So you hit the panic button and you double down. You work harder. You put more money into your business. You do all sorts of stuff that's just like, I am going to make this happen. I love planning events. It's my life's work. And the money still doesn't come in the way you had hoped, even though you put so much more time and effort into this business. And so your morale dips, and all of it converges in what Seth Godin calls the dip, and it's what I call the moment of truth. And this is where you have to make a decision to commit or concede. And so people walk away from a business every day. It happens. You know, everybody knows those statistics, those really depressing statistics of things, of businesses that fall. But let's explore it. Let's walk down that path just for a second. So you quit investing in your growth. Your revenues just stop, and your morale goes right along with it. That's all right. There's zero shame in walking away from something that's not working for you any longer. But I also know that y'all are here today because you don't want to walk away from what you're doing if you're in that. The other thing I want to point out here, I just want to make, everybody goes through all of these. You don't skip growth phase 2 and 3, and I'll get to 4 in a minute. You don't skip it. Going through the dip is like a rite of passage. It's like a badge of honor. It's like, I made it through the dip. It's great. And so now let's look at a business that commits, a business owner, event prof. So you make decisions about what you're going to invest in, where you're going to put your time, your attention, your money, all of that. And so that's phase 4 is what we all want to get to. That's the sustainable, steady revenue. It's the stream of clients who are like, yes, you are the one for me. And you don't have to work so damn hard. And that's, like, we all want to be in growth phase 4. Like, that's just the, like, I could hang out there, like, for the rest of my life. There's more, but. So what happens is oh, hold on. That's all right. So what you want to do when you commit, actually, how do you back this up? I do want to back up a second. There we go. So here's what you need to do to get to growth phase 4, if you're in that commitment phase, all right? What you want to do is you want to focus on a few things. One of those things is really understanding your value, your uniqueness. What is it about you that makes you better than anybody else? So that's the first thing you want to do. And then you wrap your business model around it. So how are you going to package and price your services? How are you, John was it John, I think, just talked about how asked, if people are getting commissions off of your events that you do. That's one way of making money. One thing that goes into the mix. And he talked about that not being sustainable. I'm not going to get into that detail, but you get to decide. You get to decide based on what your value and your uniqueness and what you're like, this is it. The next thing you want to do is think about what is your place of thought leadership. So this is where, you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So when I started off talking about being the wannabe event planner, talking about all the different things that we try to do and all the different types of business we go after, it's exhausting. What if you just were known as the person who did one-year-old birthday parties? What if you were known as the person who specialized in bar mitzvahs? What if you were known for being the person who works with entrepreneurs and helps them make a whole bunch of money selling from the stage? What if you just chose one lane? And so when someone gets ready for that and has an event that requires that, you start to bubble up as the only person who they would call. Like, it's just like, oh, of course. I'm going to call Annette for that. Of course, I'm going to call Liz for that. This is what they're known for. So that is the thought leadership piece. And then it's how do you market yourself as a thought leader? How do you sell yourself as a thought leader? And again, you can't do everything. Thanks, Ed. You can't do everything. So it's choosing that and really marketing yourself as that thought leader makes life so much easier and so much more fun. And what was I going to say? There was one other piece. So I'm gonna give you an example. Last week I held a retreat for some business owners, and a woman came in, and she is a personal brand expert, and she's been marketing to both job seekers and to entrepreneurs. And she was explaining to me what she does, and I thought, gosh, maybe what she does is something I could use. And so we were talking about it, and I said, but if I went to your website and I saw that you were also working with job seekers, I'd be like, you don't take my situation seriously. I don't think you're going to know enough about what I do and do a good job of it. So that's one example. I think Liz I don't know if she's in the room. She's over there. Oh, hi. She is a great example of someone who has positioned herself as a thought leader. And, you know, I think about when I first met her, I had just recently moved to New York, and she somehow hunted me down and asked me to speak at She Summit. And she's like, yeah, you find your own space, and you do a talk. And I'm like, I'm not going to be the only person talking to entrepreneurs, and then they like have to come across town and talk to me or listen to me speak. I'm like, can I bring some friends, and they can also do talks, and we'll do like an entrepreneur track? And she's like, yeah. But she's positioned herself, obviously, in the event tech area, but also in doing events for thought leaders. And so she's done such an amazing job of that, and it's really brought a lot of opportunities to her because of what she's done with things like Texie Talk, which I think is amazing. So she's a great example of making the case for how to get to growth phase 4, that place. Because what do we all want? We want time freedom. We don't want to be working 24/7. And I know that you have events where you're like, you just got to hunker down. You just got to get through the event. But how do you make the sales part of it easier? And that's what the whole point of my talk about is we can imagine, we can spend all day imagining what we want for ourselves. We want to be laying on the beach. We want to take great vacations. We want to buy whatever clothes we want. We want to, you know, go out for a meal in some cases and not have to worry about how much it is. Like, there's that too. And so having that time and money freedom is so something that we all want, and we can spend a lot of time imagining that and dreaming. What happens when you have established yourself and really focused on these things, your value, your business model, your thought leadership, your marketing strategy, your sales strategy, that stuff starts to come. That's when your revenues do go up, and that's when your morale goes up. So one more thing I want to say, and then we'll wrap up, is, you know how I talked about how I love camping out in phase 4? Because it's so nice. Like, you're making really steady money. You love it. Like, why would you want to walk away from that? But sometimes we get bored, and we don't want to be complacent. And so with becoming a thought leader come new opportunities and new ideas. So I'm guessing you would have never guessed, I heard your talk today, you would have never guessed that speaking would be a revenue source for you, Liz. You know, that's something that came along because she positioned herself as a thought leader. And so this entrepreneur's evolution is something that's always moving. But as you go through it, the highs of panic aren't as high, and the dips aren't as dippy. So what I want to challenge you to do is keep imagining, but reimagine how you make what you want for your life and what you want your business to do for you. I want you to reimagine how you get there. All right? Thanks for everyone.
Put your hands together, everybody. Thank you so much. That was awesome. One more
Almost
thing.
got arrested in Mexico and Jamaica.
Thank
I did
you.
not.
We needed to know.